No, that album had "We Gonna Be All Right." If
Mortal
that puts
Man,
you to sleep,
𝐀𝐁𝐄𝐀𝐃.
come on,
that
Cole.
album's
Come
fire.
on, Cole.
My favorite one from him.
If These Walls Could Talk.
Come on, man.
Isn't that the Pulitzer Prize album? I mean,
Yes.
I'm just,
Library of Congress album. Yeah, come
I'm
on.
just saying.
Good old rap beef on wax. So, as we all know, K-Dot and J. Cole had a bit of we talked about the Kendrick verse the other episode. So J. Cole came back with the 7-minute drill response. Also dropped the album, which was I May Delete Later. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
I Might Delete. Did I get it right?
Something like that.
Okay. Had some heat on there. It wasn't the best, but it had some heat on there. And then this has actually happened since the disc, but we can talk about the disc and what you guys thought about it, but we can also talk about him retracting and saying that it didn't fit with him spiritually, or I gotta find a comment because I don't want to misquote him. He had some type of that. Oh, you got a clip? Okay. Thank you.
Proud of that project, except for one part. It's one part of that shit that make me feel like, man, that's the lamest shit I ever did in my life, right? And I know this is not what a lot of people want to hear. I know I can hear my up there right now like, nah, don't do that. But I got to keep it 100 with y'all. So I felt conflicted because I'm like, bro, I know I don't really feel no way. But the world want to see blood. I don't know if y'all can feel that, but the world want to see blood. So I say all of that to say, in my spirit of trying to like get this music out, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I moved in a way that I feel spiritually feel bad on me. Like I try to like jab my back and I try to keep it friendly. But at the end of the day, when I listen to it and when it comes out and I see the talk, that don't sit right with my spirit. That make me feel disrupts my peace.
So for me personally, I don't like him, and here's why. Cole
He says you don't like him.
I like Cole. I like Cole.
Finish your statement.
Yeah, I like Cole. And we ain't gonna get that out there.
I just don't like him.
I don't like this decision though, because he's jumped out before. It's not like this is the first time that you tried to respond to somebody. Like, this is what happens in rap music. We know it's not personal. He was talking about this is my guy anyway. So we know that. It's just sparring. So for you to go through all of this to put this into a rollout, get the disc record ready, go through it, execute it with bars, just to come back and say it doesn't sit well, I'm not rocking with that.
Yeah.
I'm not rocking with that choice.
I am.
I don't like it.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Y'all can go from there.
Yeah. I mean, I respect him being noble about it.
Noble. I like noble.
I mean, he's being noble about it as far as him and Kendrick have a relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Cool.
So, I mean, he's produced stuff on Section 80, which is one of Kendrick's magnum opus, you know what I'm saying, so to speak.
Facts.
But I don't know, in the nature of this battle, because this is the thing, it's different between a rap beef that is rooted in street politics.
True.
This particular rap beef or spat, whatever you want to call it, is rooted in lyricism, in my personal opinion. So I don't see it getting messy.
Nope.
Even as slick as Kendrick was talking in this 30-some-odd second verse, it's not him saying that I'm going to sick my goons on you when I see you. It's on. This is lyrical warfare.
Right.
And this is what Kendrick is built on. Kendrick like thrives on this. He talks about how much he practices, how there's a 16-year-old kid waiting to take my spot right now, and I have to be up to par. I have to be able to, you know what I'm saying, spat with this guy if he's coming from my spot. J. Cole has been taking little shots here and there.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, once Kendrick responds and then you respond and you want to walk it back. Now, I understand if you feel something on your spirit that's telling you that you probably shouldn't do it. You probably felt that on your spirit when you wrote that rhyme.
Thank you.
So
that's why it sounded the way it did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you probably just should have left it alone, or just, you know what I'm saying, said a little something. Just know that I acknowledge what you're doing, but I'm going to keep it cool. I probably would have respected that a little more. With me being a fan for both of them, I wanted to see this.
Thank you.
I wanted to see this happen and see it unfold and see where it's going to go.
Which goes to Cole's point of people wanting to see blood.
Well, not necessarily blood.
But that's blood,
but that's
though.
what he means. He's not. He's not saying.
He's not talking about
he's
actual
talking about
people being
metaphorical blood.
But the
people
thing-
want to see Cole respond.
just
to Kendrick.
conflict.
That's what he meant.
I mean,
Gotcha.
but at the end of the day, this hip hop thing, when you're at the top of your game, that's part of the exercise, though. Everybody at the top of the game has went at somebody, literally through all errors. You know what I'm saying? That's just what goes on. And him being in a position to, take it on the chin and keep it moving, or even respond and keep responding until they start throwing the tail and call a truce, I think it could have been better. I think it would have been good for hip hop, especially considering, the nature of hip hop now, how people are saying it's more filled with junk food, so to speak. This was a chance to really highlight the good artists that can really get at it lyrically and keep it on wax.
Show that skill set.
Move on. And you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I think it could have went a little bit longer, but I mean, I respect his decision. I can't be mad at that, but you can't throw rocks in there and hide your hands.
That's all I'm saying.
Especially if you've been jabbing here and there, saying little slick lines, and then when I say something, jump out the window. Now it's kind of like I want to roll it back.
Jump in, Lon.
I think you can, though. And here's why. I think you can as long as you are accountable. And I felt like Cole was accountable. That's the only argument to that I would even have. Is like, I feel like if Cole, like if he just got rid of it, just deleted it, after everybody response was like, nah, it's mid or whatever and all this stuff, and he just deleted it. But no, he sat down and he addressed it, and I feel like he was accountable for it. I think he was accountable for how not great of a diss track it really was. Like, it was a cool record. It wasn't great.
I thought it was cool.
It was cool, but that was it.
The album itself was the release, because I don't even technically call this a release. I think it's an EP.
The budget's not behind this. What it is.
It's just an EP he wanted to throw out real quick. I love the verses on there. I love some of the songs, but you can tell it's not like the project that he's really going to put out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think that kind of stood out as far as, K-Dot had his 30 seconds. I put out a whole album, not album, EP, and then the last song is the diss track, essentially. Yeah. But he was talking jazzy on the album.
I didn't listen to the album, so I can't even reference that.
Alchemist has a super nice beat on there.
Does he?
True.
Yeah. Where I'm like, I like that song.
Yeah.
I like, there's a couple joints on there I like.
He's rapping on there.
But see, I'm sorry.
Where you at on the were you finished, Long?
No, but it's whatever.
No. I'm sorry. I interrupted.
It's all good. I mean, I can pick up whenever.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, all things considered, I mean, you guys know I've said this multiple times in the show. I don't care for rap beef. I just don't. It doesn't do anything for me, and I know I'm in the minority there. I, more so than anything else, when I look at all the pieces, I just respect the fact that a grown man had that conversation, and a grown man in hip hop had the I don't want to say fortitude or the ability. He literally went there. He's like, you know what? This is immature, almost is what he was saying. This is immature of me. This is not where I want to be. I'm going to be accountable for this. I'm going to remove this because this isn't even how I felt. It feels bad with me. I was wrong. And I don't feel like we get that enough from our important people in hip hop culture in general. And so from that aspect, that stands out more than anything else to me. So
it's partly because too, he was talking about Kendrick's releases, and he kind of played them off as they weren't that
He was
good.
absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
It was 100% cap on how he broke down the album.
What he said, To Pimp a Butterfly was a mid. I was like, sir,
come on, man.
I was like, no. But so I think he was wrong, and I think he kind of acknowledged that. So I think I just respect what he did, because I would really like to see hip hop be. I know it's for the youth and all that stuff, but sometimes it's almost just too childish, just from a maturity aspect. And so like I feel like that's a good example in my opinion. And people can disagree. That's cool, but because I know I disagree. Yeah, I know. Most people just want to see the battles and the battle back and forth. And, like you said, you think it's good for hip hop and all that stuff. I think it's better in general for society to have more examples of people that I don't think he's necessarily not standing on what he did. I think he realized that what he did was wrong and that what he said was wrong, and he was being accountable. But like, you know what? I was on some bullshit. Let me be accountable for the fact that I was on, because most of the time he's like, no, stand on the fact that you're on bullshit. Well, I don't want to stand on the fact that I'm on bullshit because it's bullshit. And he was like, no, I'm going to remove it, because it was that whole line about all his projects was stupid.
Yeah, because
very stupid,
especially compared to his projects.
Exactly,
because they kind of align a little bit, and Kendrick's is a little better. My personal opinion, I rock with both of them.
Yeah, no.
But Kendrick's discography is better than J. Cole's.
I know we addressed this on the last
episode.
About
that, yeah.
So I feel like that was, I don't know. I appreciated that aspect of it when he broke it down, and cool. If it was, I don't know. That's just,
I've heard other people say that they respect his his maturity to be able to.
I respect it.
You know, like you said, like I've heard other people say that, but you know, just from the sports standpoint, like just looking at it for what it is.
I don't know. I guess
where I'm with Terry on that.
I guess too. At the same time, I don't look at music and art as a sport. I don't look at it as a competition like that. I know it's hip hop and it's supposed to be blah 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 blah. That's what everybody says. I don't look at it like that, and I never have. And so, you know. Sure, you can say it's sparring and getting yourself better, but you can do that without being disrespectful. From my opinion.
What if I said it's not? What if I said that part of it is just a chamber of it? It's not the totality of rap.
Right.
It's just a portion of it.
Yeah, I know.
You see what I'm saying? Like that's the way I look at it. It's not like it's the grand scheme of things. It's a part of it. It's just a part of it that I like.
I don't know any like rock singers that do diss tracks back and forth like this. You know, where it's like a thing, like a sport or
it wasn't
country
really
singers.
built on that though. Like the essence of hip hop kind of was, I'm better than you, my DJ's better than you, my crew's better than yours. But like when it comes to like just battling, the whole thing wasn't about that. Like even when the Nas Jay-Z issue happened, they both had one song on their albums that addressed the situation.
Right.
The rest of the albums was
Fire.
You know what I'm saying? Just hip hop stuff.
Yeah.
And essentially Jay-Z going at Nas awakened him. It made him better because for a minute Nas wasn't Nas. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't dropping up to par stuff in a lot of people's opinion.
Yeah.
Once Jay-Z kind of ignited him, it put a battery in his back and he was back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think in the nature of competition, it kind of helps these MCs be better because now I'm hungry. I have a reason to be hungry. You know, people say they mature and I don't have a whole lot to rap about now.
Right.
But then something gives you that spark.
Yeah.
And it's not even all about this dude to just talk crazy to me, but I got to show that I still know how to rap.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think it's kind of needed in some cases. And I'm not taking anything away from J. Cole or Kendrick because they're both rapping at a top tier level. I think the common denominator here is Drake. Kendrick obviously has had something against Drake for a minute. And seeing J. Cole link up with Drake.
Oh, you mean why Kendrick even did anything to begin with? I see.
Yeah, I'm thinking him seeing J. Cole link up with Drake. It's like, all right, man, you know I really don't rock with dude like that. So I got to say something to you.
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know. I get what you're saying and I agree to an extent. I do. But I've never really gotten in. And I started, when I first started rapping, all I did was do battle raps. That's all I did. So I get it. But it's like, when it comes down to it, I guess it's just never been.
Like Mike said, it's just a chamber.
Yeah.
It's not a main, but it's entertaining. You know what I'm saying? This is the 300 era that we get. You know what I'm saying?
And I think
Leonidas and them fighting. And
I think I knew that once I heard Cole's rebuttal, I was like, I didn't believe it from like when the beat came on. I was like, this is just stupid. And it's like they're not really beefing. They're not really going at each other. Now, if Cole dropped something where it made sense, then maybe. Like if Kendrick went directly at Drake and then Drake responded, I would be more interested in that because there's a little bit more validity there. But like I don't know, it's just
like you linking up, and I don't even know if Kendrick really dislikes Drake like that, but it just seems like it because it seems like he mentioned something about his style, him having writers, that stuff has came up.
It always pops up.
His lines,
and it could be to your point where maybe it was just an exercise for Kendrick. Maybe that's all it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
jump in there, Jay. What you think about this?
I would have been very much impressed if J. Cole had have done this without putting out this album. Like when you realize he's been throwing shots for quite a while now.
Facts. On
different people's projects. And then finally, the person he'd been throwing shots at, reaches out and smacks his hand. And now he's like, well, you know what? It didn't sit right in my spirit. I was like, where was all those other records sat right in your spirit?
That's the point.
So I after you put out what is not a overwhelmingly great diss record that most people are like, all right, well, you just capping now. Like talk about how he doesn't really have his discography ain't that.
Yeah.
Then people are gotta be like, they gotta look at you crazy when you say stuff like that.
The trolls love that line too.
Yeah,
don't
and
like
so
Kendrick.
It's crazy. That's really the weakest line on the diss.
Facts.
Shout to Brother to the Night, but he was like, oh no, Kendrick's been at this for a while.
Yeah.
Or not Kendrick, but
J. Cole.
J. Cole.
Yeah.
J. Cole's been at this at a while, throwing shots at Kendrick.
I didn't
you know?
realize.
And see, like, you know, I didn't know until someone. Yeah, there's a whole. They've broken it down. You know how you know people on the internet. You know, I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. So he's been doing this on Lil Yachty's project and this person's project. I was like, oh, okay. You know, Kendrick had finally just had enough. You know, and then like, Kendrick comes and smacks your hand, and then you'd be like, well, I got to do something. And then when you do something, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, it doesn't sit right in my spirit. It's like, it
could have been the approach that didn't fit right with him too.
That could have been it.
Like maybe he doesn't need a 7-minute drill song about it. It seems like he put a lot of energy into this diss record, where Kendrick's was like a verse on something.
But when he talks when he's in the concert part, and he alludes to his homies that are probably like in the background saying, oh, no.
Yeah.
Like the verse is coming off as like a peer pressure.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I guess I got to do this because everybody's looking
said
for
that it was a mid. What he called it himself, a mid pack or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think just the fact that he's even taking it down from that perspective.
Yeah.
And that's cool, but at the same time, I'd have respected if you'd have said those words before you put out your mid diss record.
Yeah,
then I'd have been like, man, this is real maturity, and we're really moving in a way that I hope is positive. But like when I look at this, I'm like, you put out, if your diss record would have worked, I don't know if you'd have such an apologetic
That's
tone.
a good point.
Maybe not. But at the same time, people have he probably could have felt it, and once it dropped, it was just like,
I kind of felt like it made sense for him to put out kind of just a little mid something, just to kind of keep the banter going. Because I mean, technically, Kendrick's he had a lot of entendres in there, but for Kendrick that was kind of mid. I think it's more listenable than J. Cole's, because you were going to hear the Kendrick one on the radio.
True.
They're not going to play that J. Cole one at all.
No.
Matter of fact, I've literally heard that song at least one time a day since Kendrick dropped it. Not Future's verse.
No.
Only Kendrick's part. I've probably heard it once a day ever since it dropped.
This song has become nothing but Kendrick. It's not about Future.
Not about Kendrick at all. And it's kind of...
Or Future.
It's kind of
not
like
about Future at all.
Yeah.
Like, what when I'm in the spot, like they go straight to Kendrick's verse.
Go straight to it, and it's kind of like
the other part.
It's like a new version of I'm Bad almost. You know what I'm saying? How people they play it when they share it on like Instagram or behind their story. It's kind of like a bravado type of thing that's going on in the situation. So the Kendrick one is going to get more airplay. It's going to continue to, trend. But J. Cole now is going to trend off of pretty much throwing in a white flag on this whole situation.
Let me ask y'all this, and I already know my answer, but has Drake's window closed, and do we care if he even puts anything out at this point? In response to this,
I don't care, but I never.
Because there's some people, he posted some picture on his...
He's going to do that. He's going to make an Instagram post.
Right, like there's some picture with him talking about... some sneaky stuff. But I think the moment's gone.
Honestly, part of the reason why I don't care I was over it. That's why I didn't care. By the time that J. Cole put out his record, I was over it. It was a quick little moment. Shout out to Kendrick, because once again, I didn't think I was going to hear from Kendrick for years. Like I didn't think he was going to come down off the mountain with his, riding his bike and hanging out with his kids and his wife. I thought after Mr. Morale, that was it.
Yeah,
I wasn't gonna hear nothing. Maybe he'd jump on a Baby Keem song, but that's about it.
Yeah,
he just be playing on them songs anyway.
Exactly. So
playing.
I wasn't really expecting anything from Kendrick in the first place. But this is, like I said, with Drake, and he's in a place right now where he can ignore this and he'll put out he'll put out another house music record or something or another reggae or Afro beat. I think he cares. There is that part of him that is hip hop and, that's competitive and he wants to chime in. But then there's the part of him that Drake is a business. Drake is a brand. And honestly, this doesn't serve him as a business nor a brand.
What he's doing, he's pocketing it. So what's going to happen is he's going to put out a 6 p.m. in some other state, you know what I'm saying? And he's going to have a little slick line, a little jab here and there.
That's
going to address it, and that's all it's going to be.
Yeah, but, he remembers. Look, you remember we were about to come in here. This is several years ago. We've been doing this podcast a long time. When we were about to hop on and talk about how Drake, man, he got at Pusha T. Then, like, right before we were start to record, that's when Pusha T's diss record came out.
Oh, yeah.
And we had to change up the format of the show.
Yeah.
Because we were like, oh, Pusha T is a savage.
Yeah.
And he
Story of eight.
yeah, and he got after his mom, his dad drink with his suits,
his shoe deal.
Yeah,
he slaughtered all of that.
Yeah, so that's probably, is it something that we heard over and over? But like sometimes a diss record is somebody puts it out and it's for the world, but that diss record was for you.
That was personal.
Yeah. That is, that's the crazy thing about even when you talk about the takeover. Remember, the whole song wasn't about Nas.
Nah, just the last verse.
And so the song wound up being, something for the world and be like, look what I said about this guy. But when Nas went back and did Ether, he's like, I want you to hear this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is how I feel about you. I'm going to talk about you.
The whole song.
And that was the whole song.
Good time in hip hop. That's all I gotta say.
I remember that era, and then when
I hated both those songs.
when Jadakiss was going at Beanie Siegel and
God.
I mean, like this is when it was like I heard what's his name, Joe Budden say this is when we didn't have all these internet outlets. All we had was Hot 97 and guns.
Yeah,
and so it would seem like it was a different time.
Yeah, so that's why I say that was different, because these is real street dudes going at each other. So it can lead to something else. The whole Biggie Tupac beef led to something else.
Right.
I never thought that this was going to lead to. This is two artists at the top of the game. Yeah. At the top of their game, in their prime, rapping at each other. I'm all for that, man. I like it. But it looks like it's over. So
yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's over.
Cole could have definitely, done better. Yeah. I'll just say that.
Kendrick is getting at somebody every time he drops something, though, essentially, except for his last project, because that last project was it was a healing project for him. This is him healing, but every other project he's got at somebody or said something about somebody and pretty much dares you to say something about it.
What was
when he got on somebody else's stuff?
The Cole line was what he said. The last album put everybody to sleep. He's talking about Mr. Morale. Wasn't that the bar?
No, he said
at the bar.
No, that was, he said he said your first stuff was classic, second was tragic. Your second one put people to sleep, which was
it was the second one.
So
We're talking about To Pimp a Butterfly.
100%. That's where he lost me.
Yeah, that's cap.
Like okay. The other statements were fine, but when he said that one would put people to sleep, it's like, but people that think everything's boring to sleep.
That album had "We Gonna Be All Right." If that puts you to sleep,
𝐀𝐁𝐿.
Come on,
that
Cole.
album's
Come
fire.
on, Cole.
My favorite one from him.
If These Walls Could Talk.
Come on, man.
Isn't that one isn't that the Pulitzer Prize album?
Library of Congress album. Yeah, come on.
I'm just saying.
It's very, very, very good.
Like
very good.
It was just like when Cole said, Cole knows better.
You know better than that.
Yeah,
and I think that's the part, like when he apologized so fast, I was just, I don't know if it was apology, but it was like when he retracted, I was just like, good, you should have.
Yeah, because if we're talking about Cole's first 3 albums, we're not talking about his mixtapes. His first 3 albums.
They're putting more people to sleep than To Pimp a Butterfly.
Listen,
facts.
I know more people that don't like J. Cole and say that he's boring.
I don't think he's boring.
I don't either.
And I don't
because I like both of them.
Yeah, but
that's what made it kind of hard for me.
Yeah,
is because I like both of these cats.
Yeah,
but when it comes to whose albums I probably hold dear more, it's probably Kendrick.
That's not even close.
Not even close for me. Love Cole's work, but they're not. Yeah. All right, man. And he know, like Lone said, he knows that. He knows that. So.
Yeah, he knows. He knew. That's why I was like, yeah. So I see the multifaceted stuff, and I get all your points. I don't know. I'm just, when I look at it, I'm like, I kind of wish. And maybe I think this is less of a hip hop thing and more just a societal thing. I appreciate those examples.
Right.
Right. And like, I feel like we need more of it. And we see it in a lot of artists as they get older too. So, but
yeah,
anyways,
I can dig it.